Good morning, afternoon, evening to whoever you're joining us from in the world today. Welcome to the SpunkGo webinar. Today's speaker is Tatyana Mikayilova. She's the founder of Edutainment in Azerbaijan, as well as the CEO of Red Communication Agency. It's my greatest pleasure to welcome Tatyana to speak about the SHE conference and her learnings. Just a side note, Q&A will be done through the chat feature after her presentation. SpunkGo is an all-girls global student organization where proceeds go to charity. And with that, the floor is now yours.
It takes time to unmute myself. Thank you for the introduction. Since we've been talking, I think, there are some adjustments. So I'm serial entrepreneur, and, whoever is saying to you serial entrepreneur, that reminds you the serial killer. So that's like, that's kind of similar to that, because being in business, being woman in business, that's a sort of the thing you're doing. And yes, I'm the founder of Azerbaijan Business Women. I'm doing lots of the mentoring and women leadership projects and programs. And one of my passions, the most beloved ones is a SHE Congress, and we're doing it not only in Azerbaijan, but in different countries too. And SHE stands for Smart, Happy, and Equal. So we are here, and I do expect, because I do believe that we women are supposed to be happy first, okay? And then the rest of the things will come, because there is one important thing we all need to know is that, and we actually know, this world starts from the woman. This life starts from the woman, whether you want it or not, okay? Since the world and the universe is starting from the woman, what else can make this world happy? Happy woman. And that's why we're probably here to talk about that, and to talk about, I'm basically here on the invitation on SpunkGo to talk to you about not only about SHE. Actually, I would love to talk to you about how possible you can realize yourself, how you can own your future, how you can own your life, and how you can change actually your future or your current life at your desire. And I know it sounds difficult. I know that lots of you, and I see people are coming and coming and coming. And I know, like, usually you see women from the other parts of the world the same way I did in my childhood and probably in the young years. And I was saying that, oh, come on, see what they're talking about. They have different conditions for living. They don't know how difficult it is for us to live, da 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 da. Trust me, every single person has got the story behind, and it's not only one. Every single success comes with a payback. Every single life has got many details you probably are not aware of. And whenever you see someone who is smiling, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person doesn't have any issues. And we are here not to talk about how many problems we've got, because basically we're sharing the same issues all over the world. It doesn't depend where you're living. So we're nearly the same, more or less. Somewhere bigger problems in one area, somewhere probably smaller issues in the other one. But all in all, women are facing the same difficulties and issues. So we are here to talk about how we can shift the world around us, how we can shift ourselves to change the reality. And in case, of course, if you want to change that, because, I've seen the situations where people don't want to change anything, which is fine enough too. But in case if you want to really own your life, how you can do that. So I can tell you a number of stories, which probably would start from nice and smiley one. If you Google me in the internet, you will see lots of the interviews, lots of the happy face and smiles, etc. However, I've been through lots of the hiccups, lots of the turbulences. I know what it is, the bankruptcy. I know what it is not to have food on the table, trust me. And, this is probably something what is shaking you up although I do love crises because they make us thinking. They make us probably re-evaluating where we are. So in this life, we can either be the owners or the victims. That's the truth. So the victims are those who will be blaming everything and everyone around. And in case, again, I know that lots of you, same as I was, probably are going through the situations where lots of the circumstances don't let them grow. But the truth is, there's always one window. There is always one small path which you can pick up, start looking at it differently, and find a way out. So the task in a life is not to be looped in the problems and issues, but look around and see how possibly we can find a solution. I've been through lots of the entrepreneurship activities, interesting ones, trust me, and I'm quite blessed because I'm doing in life what I love doing, and this is probably the key sometimes for the success. Because when you do what you love, and that becomes like your business, that's the passion. However, I've been training lots of the women, coaching lots of the women and the girls, and our biggest issue sometimes, especially when it comes to the business, is that we're driven by only the passion and only by love, but we're reluctant to talk about money, for instance, because there are lots of the bans, lots of the stigmas, lots of the social things which girls are to follow, i.e., we are supposed to be looking this way, we are supposed to be behaving this way, we are not supposed to be laughing loud, we are not supposed to be like, running fast, we are not supposed to be doing what men are doing, we are not supposed to be doing technical. Following that is quite an issue for those who want to build their life. I can say in my personal experience, because my first education is engineering. And my second education is totally opposite, it's communications. And somebody would say that since I'm an engineer, I would never be able to shift to communications. However, my engineering background, i.e. technical background, let me see the things from a different point of view, from inside. And that makes me different in the market. That makes me creating the products which are different from my colleagues who have some certain angle of view. But again, would I be able to do that if I was following what I was supposed to do? No. It doesn't mean that you're going to the protests screaming out loud and saying, okay, I'm gonna kill everyone around and myself too. It all starts with you. And I'm not going to be talking long right now about me, because I really want to understand why you're here and how I can actually meet your questions, or I can meet your requests for advice, having my personal experience. But what I'm trying to say is that it's always the way to grow yourself. It's always the way to change the life. It's always the way to start doing things which probably the others don't see or don't think you could do. Because, basically most of you are living in families with relatives, with the people who again see you and expect you to behave some certain way. In our case, I'm talking about women and girls right now. In our surroundings. And, I mean, in the countries you live, probably sometimes they think that education is not important for the girl because all she's supposed to be, like, she's supposed to be getting married, she's supposed to be becoming a mother, etc. Even if so, I keep asking this question in all the societies, especially those ones which are conditioned societies, I call them. If we are supposed to be, oh hi, I'm seeing your comments. I'll be going through the comments, so please keep typing that. Like, I'll be just saying separate hellos to you because I'm so curious to know where you're coming from. So in our societies, when they say that the education is not important, but the importance is motherhood, I'm asking one thing. If motherhood is a priority, who is supposed to be more educated, the mother or the father? Because the mother will be the one who will be giving first education to the kid. Who the kid is staying with? The mother. So the mother is supposed to be delivering that knowledge. Exactly. So you will be hearing through your life, and probably you are hearing lots of the, again, norms. I do remember I was a part of the Shark's Tank, and this is like, where all the investors are coming together, and I was the only woman there. And after the program, after screening the program, being on TV, everything, and that's hard work, by the way. For those who don't know, like being on TV on the program, it's never the pleasure. It's like really, really hard work because you need to go through the, through different and difficult situations when you need to make a choice, and you will be judged. So I do remember when we went to one of the regions. Imagine us, and I'm again the only woman sitting there, and we are being asked different questions about different things. And all of a sudden, one of the guys is saying, "Oh, by the way, I have one question to that lady." And I'm like, "Yes." And he's asking, "Are you really from business? Are you really entrepreneur?" I'm like, "Yes." Why? He's like, "You are smiling at all times." So what I'm trying to say is that the society and people around you will be misperceiving you in lots of the cases. And the truth is, you will either follow yourself, how you feel, and how you feel what is right, what is wrong, or you will be living the other lives. Because other people will be dictating you what to do, how to behave, how to speak, how to look, how to grow, how to get an education, what kind of education. Okay. So it is your choice. You need to keep asking yourself, first of all, what is it I want to do in this life? And that's number one question. Actually, that's a question which is which is putting you I'm sorry, that's a question which defines your life. And you're right now, I mean, the age is like, as I understand, quite young, much younger than me, but it's never late. Not only it's never late, you need to re-ask that question, what is that I want to do in my life, every time. Because sometimes you will, I mean, at 20, you will want to do something. At 25, all of a sudden, you will decide that, like, I'm going to change that. You know what is magic truth? And I discovered that, quite a long time ago, but unfortunately later than I could. You can change anything in your life at any time. Difficult? Yes. Challenging? Yes. Problematic? Yes. Will be causing issues? Yes. But it's better to do that rather than to regret that you didn't do. I know lots of the people, not only women, men too, okay, because I'm coaching men too. And I know how they keep sitting and regretting and saying, oh, I would do that if. And when you ask if, like, what is that if? Those ifs are so small. So in your particular case is, again, owning your life is not easy. You know why? Because even in the societies or the countries where which have no issues, actually all of the countries have got issues, okay? But even in the countries where you think it's easier to live, owning your life is always a problem. Because you have to be responsible for what you do in front of yourself, not in front of anyone else. Okay, let me go through hellos because I want to see chat. Just a second. All right. Here we go. Okay, so we have people from Pakistan. Fantastic. We can be wife and mom and businesswoman. Of course we can. And that's that's what I'm trying to say. And this is what I love. Like, you know, if somebody would say to me whether I would love to be born as a man, no. I'm the mother of 3 sons, okay? 16, 29, and 34. So, and my older one is like already married. I've been married for 17 years. I'm divorced right now. I'm going, you know, through against lots of the stigmas. But at the same time, yes, you can be wife, you can be mom, you can be businesswoman, you can be all of that. And don't believe to anyone who is saying you the opposite. Because I've heard that a lot. Lots of the girls, like, you know, in our session are saying, okay, once I got married, that's it. No, that's not it. But then the question is like, thoroughly think whom you're marrying. Because you know you have to be really having a partner in your life. It's not only about marriage, but someone who will be like, you know, your soulmate, somebody who will be supporting you at some point. All right, let's go for the next ones. Mothers, yes, we've talked about mothers. Pakistan here, Malawi here. Okay. All right, I've got comments about the education. Amazing. Like, you know, having the master's degree, but husband like graduated secondary school. That happens too. I mean, you know, I mean, all the families are different. That's what that is what the thing is. There is no template. There's no thing such as like, you know, you are to follow the certain metrics. It's all different. If you're comfortable in this setup, if you're happy with like, you know, your husband taking care of your kids and you're taking care of your career and you love each other, there is nothing wrong with that. That's the thing. There is nothing wrong in anything, whatever makes you happy. Pakistan here. Okay. A lot of people around us in Kazakhstan think that girls don't need to go to university. Oh, trust me, it's not only in Kazakhstan, it's everywhere. Somehow we have that stigma, like, you know, okay, again, if she's a girl, why should she get the education? But again, if this world starts from the woman, we need to have educated world, i.e. we need to have educated two girls. And it's actually up to you what kind of education to choose. Because I remember myself, like, you know, in my young years, in my school time, my family thought that, okay, I either have to be the teacher or the doctor. Thanks God I didn't become any of them. I wouldn't be able to become the doctor because I'm probably feeling the other pain too close. I would be dying with someone already on the first instance. And I think, you know, being a teacher probably at some point, yes, but this is not my passion. Okay, I'm more coach rather than the teacher. But what I'm trying to say is that my family wanted to do one thing. I went to do the other thing, and they were always looking at me. I had a very supportive father and mother. Yes, that's true. But they were always like, you know, at some point they were questioning things I was doing, of course, because you know why parents are doing that. It's not only because it's not because they don't like you or they don't love you or they want something bad for you, but they fear your future and they're afraid that probably if you do something different from what other people are doing, you will be unsuccessful. And for them, it will be tragic. So it brings you actual double responsibility to prove them that, no, I'm good, like mom and dad. But, you know, I mean, I have to do that and because I think this is right. But again, you know, that's up to the internal power, your inner power to feel what you want to do, where you will see yourself, and what will make you happy. Okay. All right. I love your messages, and they keep coming. Zimbabwe is here. Pakistan again. Kenya. Hi. I desire to be mom that does it all. Mom is amazing feeling. Like somebody wants to be a mom, somebody wants to go child free. That's up to you. That's again, we're talking about our own choice. Okay, that motherhood feeling is amazing. But at the same time, if somebody decides, like, not to have kids, nothing wrong with that because they decide to do so. Okay. Now, I've got lots of the people coming from Pakistan here, single and still enjoying. I believe, yes, I feel you. Single and still enjoying, keep enjoying, enjoyable singling as long as you can. Malawi is here, can't hear you. I'm sorry. I think, you need to check your sound because, the others can hear. Try connecting. Yeah, okay, you've reported to that. Okay, we've got Sri Lanka here, Malawi, Uganda, Kenya, Pakistan again. That's amazing. So keep writing that. And, one thing I would love to ask you to do is just like, throw me the first comment on what are you doing here, why you joined us here. I know you're with SpunkGo, and I'm sure they're doing amazing job. I was just like, I know how many big things they're doing, but trust me, I want to understand why you're doing here, what brought you here, because at the same time I'm here on Saturday afternoon, and it's not AM. I'm not in Houston right now. I am in Baku in Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, some tragic event brought me here, so I'm sitting, but I'm enjoying spending time with you. At the same time, I know you're investing your own time, so please, write us what do you expect from this webinar, what do you want to hear. It is about interaction. One thing I learned for myself is that when I meet people, until even now, when I meet people, and I was lucky enough to have lots of the mentors from all the different areas, when I meet them, I'd better be talking to them using this opportunity. If God is sending you someone, anyone on your way, even person who is passing by and throwing you a word, that's for the reason, that's for the purpose, so that you could learn or to hear something new. So if you have this opportunity, ask. I'm always asking in my sessions, I'm always asking to not to overthink the questions. There are no smart or silly questions, okay? Ask whatever is interesting to you, because sometimes, unfortunately, especially in my environment of business women, we think of the too sophisticated things. But I've heard lots of the questions sometimes from the girls of your age who are interested is like, how do you balance your normal life? I mean, how do you live it? And I can tell you the stories how to be sleepless through the whole night because you're doing business and you're with a client and you're like, next morning you're supposed to be doing an event, and you're still having kids, you're still having family, and you're still having the expectations. So to do that all, it requires quite a lot of your inner power. And you know what the truth is, and I'll tell you something probably not everybody is telling, but the truth is we cry too. I can be sitting and crying, in a corner of my sofa, thinking that the world is done. That's it, I'm done. But somewhere inside of myself, there is someone who is saying to me, "Hey, come on, girl! You're crying now, but it's going to be better tomorrow." And that's true, because everything is temporary. Whatever you're going through is temporary. Okay, let me see. I missed some questions, I think. Self-education. Oh yeah, self-education. Self-education in general is important thing. And I'm not talking about the diplomas. However, in our countries, diplomas are important simply because to be employed properly. But when I talk about education, I'm talking about the skills. What is it really like, and you would like to improve doing, okay? And this is changing. I mean, when I did my second education, I told you on communications, and that was called public relations by then, now strategic communications. When I was doing that, PR and media relations and communications were looking entirely different. Now imagine we were reading the newspapers and we were doing press releases and we were cutting articles from the newspapers. Okay. Now, how many of you are reading newspapers right now? I bet none. But the speed of the information is so much higher. And the volume of the information is so much bigger, and you all have an access to that. But you know what is the beauty of today? You girls and guys are having an access to free education from all over the world. It's only the internet you need, okay? The internet and the will, the internet and the desire to learn something. And once you understand, okay, I want to do something about that, here you are. You just open the internet and you find resources, okay? You join this platform. 1 second, I'm trying to make it more comfortable. Females, because I face a big challenge of gender disparity in Balochistan. I can tell you that the gender disparity is everywhere, even in the countries. Like if you think that US is good, if you think that Canada is good, no, it's all the same, trust me. And I can tell you how is it to feel sitting the only female at the board table or the only female at the governmental meeting. But it is, you know what, you need to understand that, like, it's up to you what to radiate, because once you enter the meeting, once you enter the conversation with someone, it is what you're radiating. I'm doing like separate, one of my things is doing the public speaking trainings. And I always say that it's important how you feel about yourself, because your energy is being felt. So what do you need to, one thing you need to learn, whether you're like, having the high education, whether you don't have one, but learn how to feel yourself confident. And once you feel yourself confident, the minute you enter the group, the minute you enter the conversations, you will be radiating that confidence. And you know what? The others will be perceiving you this way. The other thing is that in lots of the cases, I can see girls who are saying, oh, I'm so shy. I don't want to enter that. I don't want to go to that networking. And you see, the girl is, for instance, she's entering the, and I'm talking about the girls because in most of the cases, it's about girls. Boys that too, but like, less. So you can see the girl who is entering the networking, and what she's doing, she's with her mobile and she's always there simply because she's not feeling confident. So one thing you need to learn about how to feel confident about yourself. And to feel confident about yourself, you need to understand what is that you want to do in this life. So you need to keep saying to yourself, like, okay, I want to be this, this, and that. What will bring me there? And once you understand it, you will understand that, okay, these are the things which will help you to reach your objective. And the minute you understand that, your level of confidence is changing. Life lesson, basically. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, I'm here to learn from someone who's traveled the road of intent today. Well, that's like, I mean, that's a big road. That of being mom, farmer, lab technologist, and a business person. Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely, totally fascinated by what you're doing, being a mom, farmer, and a lab technologist, and a business person. You are living in your future. You're already living in your future. I can tell that. Like, ask how many people, how many women are doing the same. You're pretty brave. So all you need is just to keep going, to keep going. I do remember that one of the amazing advices my middle son gave to me a couple of years ago, and I was in the middle of like, some crisis. And that's what I love, like, listening to all the different things. You think that we adult people know everything and we only give advices. No. We learn from the kids, we learn from people around, we learn from someone who we meet, etc., etc. So he said to me, I do remember that, like, I was so distracted. There was so much, so big overwhelm. And he said to me that, you know what? Sometimes you feel yourself like in a horror movie or in a scary movie, okay? And there's a road. And on the sides of the road, you have some like different things which are distracting and, frightening you. So your objective is to get from this point of the road to the other side of the road without being distracted or being interfered by those horrors or whatever it is on the sides. And that's exactly the thing. Every time through your life on your way, you need to reevaluate what is it you're doing right now. Does it take you to the objective? Does it take you to the goal? Does it take you to the point you want? And I don't want to say the final point because there is no final point, okay? The final point is defined by God, and this is the end of life. But I'm talking about if you've been putting yourself and objectives and the goals, where you are right now, does it help you to get there? Does this road take you there? And if not, question that road. And it's never late to change the road. It's never late to take the other transport. It's never late to change the direction. It's never late to understand that, oh, actually, I don't want to do that at all. But then you need to ask yourself, what is that you want to do? Okay. Good evening from Pakistan again. How to get out of an anxiety slum after 2 years of no job, direct graduate from university? Well, there are two things, okay? And I can see two issues here. One is anxiety, and I believe it's not only about the job, but about the surrounding and your expectations. And another thing about about the work, finding the work. I don't know, unfortunately, your specifics. I don't know your education. I don't know your specific field. But what I can tell you that sometimes we are banging the same door, which not opening, and it's not opening for the reason. Then we need to understand and ask ourselves, okay, where I'm looking, is it the right path I'm looking at? Is it the right geography? Again, right now you're so much having access to all the worldwide jobs, online jobs. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to find a job. But sometimes you can't find a job to open your own business. That's also true. Or sometimes you can't find a job because there's a better thing prepared for you. But the most important in this situation is to keep your eyes open, not to get into the anxiety, because anxiety is distracting you. The minute you get into the anxiety, you keep thinking, oh my God, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it doesn't work, oh my God, it's not going to work at all. No. If this is not working, ask yourself, is it the right thing for you? Are you looking at the right place? Is it really what you want to do? I mean, all those questions will be able to help you to understand where you are and if you're knocking the right door, okay? Can you please share your life experience or any kind of challenges we can face in a business life, or any kind of tips would be helpful? Oh, you will have lots of the challenges in business life. If you think I will say that it's easy, no. One of the past experiences I can share was COVID. So in COVID, and I'm in the medium business. So medium business is SME sector, okay, small and medium business sector. And that was hit the hardest because you know what happened, especially in communications. I started receiving calls from the clients who were saying, oh, unfortunately, we won't be able to work anymore. We don't have any budget. So it is like you're sitting and saying to yourself, oh my God, what I'm going to do? Because I have a team. And as a business owner, my first obligation, my first commitment is to pay to my team. And that's the biggest problem in the businesses. You know, people think businesses is just like owning the business. You sit somewhere in the Bahamas or somewhere in the yacht, having your cocktail and your dividends or profits are coming to you. No, the truth is the business is a slavery, okay, sometimes. Because you know, when a crisis is coming, you don't pay yourself. You pay to the people who work for you. Because this is the most important, your team. And this is what makes like leaders keeping their teams. So imagine in COVID, I start running out of like, you know, clients, but my team was still there, and I was not planning to like fire any of them. But then it made us changing the and diverse the portfolio, i.e., shall we run some other things too? Shall we do hybrid events? Shall we do like online events? And honestly, I love you all, like, you know, being here, but I would prefer to have one-to-one session with you, or like, you know, being with you in the same audience, because I love people's energy. So when online events happen, I was like, oh my God, I don't love them at all. But the truth is I had to do something. And the same, you know, I had like, you know, I do remember my experience of failing with the projects. I mean, in business is a very risky thing. Okay, people who see people in business, I mean, women in business or men in business, it doesn't matter. It's the same sort of responsibility. When they see them publicly, they see only the face and the picture, and again the smiley thing. But there are so many hiccups. It could be crises, it could be you know, health issues, it could be anything actually. There could be something which will drive you nuts. It can be an unhealthy competition too. When you step in business, somebody will be looking at you and thinking, oh my God, if they are so successful, that's a good business, and I want to do the same business. They will not think of the competition. Okay, they will not think how good you are. So they might start the same business. And you know what you will face? You will face the competition, which will be absolutely unequal, i.e., person might have less skills, less expertise, less professionalism, but they will be charging less client, and client can easily go to them simply because they will be cheaper. One of my biggest learnings was, I remember when it was 15 plus years or something, I started my own business. I came from the corporate. So when I did that, after 2 or 3 years, somebody told me, oh, we can't work with you. You're too expensive. And I was like, oh my God, like, you know, this is like, you know, what do I do with that? And I've been talking to, you know, to the mentors. And again, through the life, I was so blessed, you know, having people whom I can ask something around. So I was talking to them, and somebody told me, you know what, when somebody is saying to you that we wish we would work with you, but you're too expensive, that's actually the compliment. It's the same like everybody wants to own Louis Vuitton bag. Well, most of the people, I don't, but like most of the people. And Louis Vuitton is heavily expensive for no reason. But all in all, people are still collecting those money to go and buy Louis Vuitton. So if you're in a segment where your expertise and your invoicing, i.e., your value, your pricing is high, and they're matching each other, you're in a good shape. You're really in a good shape. It's a matter of understanding, like, you know, whether you're overpricing for no reason, but you will understand it too. Or you will, like, you know, or you understand that it is how much it costs. Because in my business personally, I never compromise the quality of the services, because there is one thing which is number one for me in business and whole life. And, you know, I keep preaching that: reputation. So reputation is something you cannot buy with money. Reputation is something you're gaining through your whole life. I'm not talking about business right now. I'm talking about your general reputation. But reputation is something you can easily lose within just few moments. So it's important, is like, you know, to keep building that thing, you know, because reputation is not expensive. it is priceless. So think about your reputation, because once you build your reputation, you will find the clients and you will find the potential employer. You will find people who will hire you because they will hear about you, you know? Okay, so I can see I'm here because I'm figuring trying to change my career path. Because being a present mom and actively dating and short knowing. I love it. Being a present mom and actively dating. I just love it. You're amazing. You're doing a fantastic job. Even though I'm a graduate student, but I'm still preparing for a business of my own to be financial. But yeah, it's gender biased thing is everywhere. Yeah, I agree with you. You know what makes us different in business? There are several things. Men are going to the business. They say, okay, the worst case scenario, I'm going to lose money. Okay. Women are going to the business and they say, oh my God, I can't lose money because if I lose money, I won't be able to support my family. Or if I fail, what are they going to talk about me? Men don't think about that. That's why they're bigger risk takers. And that's what makes us like, in a less proportion in the business. But the truth is, yes, risk is there, but you can do that. I keep doing business in all online business, but there are a lot of challenges on saving some profits for it. So for it to progress. So what can you help? I didn't get that. Can you please be more clear on the question? Gaining knowledge as I'm about to venture in the business, enjoying the session. How do you build a social I'm sorry, this is very uncomfortable, like to me to see this chat. So I'm trying. How do you build a social surrounding of people who support you? Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you for that. Look around. Okay, look around, because sometimes we are looking for the space science, but in fact everything is around us. You can have probably a neighbor who's got a very good knowledge. You can have the relative who will be able to support you, and don't mess them with relatives who will be saying to you, oh no, don't do that because you will be failing. Forget about that. Because especially when women, but in general, when people are starting business, my first advice is stop hearing the noise around you. Okay, you can do some surveys, you can do some research, but if somebody is saying to you, oh, are you sure? I remember every time I was stepping into something new, people were saying like, are you sure? Are you confident about that? Yes. So it is not about you talking about the plans, but try to look the people, because the truth is, this world is very connected. Imagine I was supposed to be in US. I'm sitting in Azerbaijan right now, and I have you all through all over the world. Okay, so we're connected anyway, and we will be connected as of now. I mean, you will find me on the social networks. I will find you there too. I will connect with you. It means that, again, somebody whom you will see in a shop, whom you can have the short conversation for 5 minutes, can connect you with someone who lives in Australia without you expecting that. So when you're building the network, just be open. Just be open your heart and open your mind. Don't be closed. Don't ignore people. Even if they're saying something to you, what you don't want to hear, don't ignore them. Because that's connection to connection to connection to connection. We all, as people, are connected. The same way I do believe, for instance, trees are connected. You know that trees are connected with their roots. They talk with the help of their roots, okay? We as people talk without voice, with our energy. So you need to be really open-minded and have your eyes and ears and soul and heart wide open to start talking to different people. And sometimes even kid can bring you some knowledge or some connection to someone you wouldn't expect. Yes, right, start business for myself and didn't work out. It's have Milan working for me like this. Okay. Okay. Having Milan ideas, yeah, that's a good thing. But that's also about the neurodiversity. We all people are different, okay? So some of us have got million ideas, some of us are sticking to one idea. Some of us are just generators of the ideas. Some of us are really good performers. Some of us are really like good leaders. Some of us are doing good execution, being led by someone, and there's nothing wrong with that. So when you have those millions ideas, try to put them down in a piece of paper. I always like advise, like write them down. Okay, you can put them in a computer too. I know that the younger generation prefers like things digital. When I'm asking my son who is 16 years old, can you write it down for me? He's like, I will send it to you by email. And I'm like, okay, you can do that too. I understand that it's a different perception. What I'm trying to say that if you have millions of ideas, try to put them in one document. And then go to the short list of those ideas, try to make 10 of them, and then try to make 3 of them. And out of those 3, find we call it devil's advocacy, find people whom you trust, who really like want to support you, and sort of talk to them, talk through them sometime. That's a very good, like, I love this phrase, talk through them, talk about them, okay? You will hear bounced information which will help you to understand whether this idea is worth implementing. So everything, I mean, okay, you're talking about the older ones, but everything is invented in this life, okay? We're always saying that there's no point to invent the bicycle, but there are so many still breakthroughs. And you know what? The most successful startups and the most successful businesses were the solution of someone's problem. Even the social media, even Zoom we're having right now, the conversation with, was the solution of having online meetings. Facebook was a solution to the social network. There are plenty of the medical solutions for that too. So think what is it really you're trying to solve in this life? What is it really you're trying to help to tackle in this life? And after that, you will understand whether this idea is worth living. How can one gain connections in order to boost your business? Again, I mean, virtually, there are several networks: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, okay? When we're talking about face-to-face, you need to start understanding what are the business networks around you, in your city, in your country, where you can go. You can go to the conferences, you can go to webinars, you can go to seminars, you can go to the business dinners, you can go to social events even, okay? You can go to conversation clubs, etc., etc., etc. But I'm trying to say that don't ignore anything, but be specific, because there is one danger: you can spread yourself, and it will be difficult too. So in order to get the connections, you need to understand, okay, what sort of the connections you would like to get. I mean, obviously, if you want to work in a flower business, you wouldn't like to be connected with the people from the oil industry, right? Because there will be no help. So see what are the bordering industries in a flower business which might help you, like events, etc., and then find the networkings they're going to, and where to see them, where to meet them, and that will help you to find those people who might be useful for your future connections. And the same with other businesses too. Again, you need, and don't jump on the people. When you go to the business networkings, okay, the worst thing you can jump on the person and say, oh, by the way, you're here, okay, I would like you to help me. That might be scary, especially for those who are already successful in business, okay? Because those people are, they're quite conscious about their time. But try to monitor, see, and imagine. There's one thing. Sometimes people come to me and they say, oh my God, like I've seen such and such person, and I couldn't ask any question because, like, I was so shocked that I've seen such a person. Sometimes try to rehearse. What does it mean? Imagine what are your 5 or 10 people you would love to meet in this life. That can be anyone, some show business. It depends on really whom you want to meet. Write down why you want to meet them. And that's important. It's not only like you see them and you say, oh my God. No, it doesn't work. If you're like, looking at owning your future, why would you love to meet them? I bet like, the list will be shorter by the time, like, you start from whom you want to meet, why you want to meet, okay? And then when you understand why you want to meet them, put the questions next to each of that person. Questions you want to ask them in case if you see them. And you know what is the truth? You probably will not believe it now, but one day universe might bring that person next to you. And you either will have those like few seconds or few minutes to ask that question or the request or the information or to say hello, how you introduce anything you wanted to ask that question or anything you wanted to talk to that question, or you will be standing still, losing yourself. And then you will go back and you'll say, oh my God, I wish I knew I would meet that person. So building that is, first of all, try to understand who is that you want to see, whom you want to see, anyone, because you will see lots of the people who are unnecessary too. Lots of the people who will probably will not bring you, lots of the information, and you might be like distracted by that too. So again, identify for yourself those people you want to see. Identify why you want to see them. And that can be like, if you don't put the name, that can be someone from the industry, like you work, or someone from the place you work. Why you want to see them? And imagine, if you see them, how would you present yourself? How would you say hello? And what would you ask? Because I've seen so many situations, trust me, when even the business people, they cannot talk. Communication is a key. So for you, it's important, like, to plan it well. I really need to find a good job in Sri Lanka. What kind of skills can be developed for a female over 40, highest education, MBA, please advise. Okay. I have no idea what your education is, number one. What I can see, like, female over 40, you are absolutely well done in terms of you're going to be better than anyone else because you are over 40, you understand what you want in this life. So you first need to understand the industry, where you want to work. Do you want to work for someone? Do you want to work for the corporation? In my particular case, I did some different shifts from the other people. Usually people work for the small agencies and they become the client. I was a big client. I was working for the corporates. And then I decided to go for the private business. With like, whether they were my ambitions or something else, I don't know. Like, by now I understand that I wanted some flexible time for myself. I didn't want to sit in the office from 9 to 6 for sure. But one thing nobody told me by then, that it will not be 9 to 6, it will be 24/7. So business is 24/7. So for you right now, having the highest education MBA, you need to understand, like, what is a good job for you. You're writing here the good job, okay? Try to identify what is a good job. Just put it on a piece of paper. Good job for me. And that could be, I don't know, again, I don't know your industry. That could be like, head of the department, CEO, COO, entrepreneur. I mean, anyone, okay? Try to understand what is a good job, because until you have this in your mind, the definition of what you want to have, you will not get it. You cannot get something what you don't know. Imagine if you're coming to the shop, groceries, simple, easy, okay? You're coming to the groceries. You know that you want to buy milk, you want to buy butter, you want to buy bread, you want to buy apples, you want to buy bananas. Okay? You buy them. Imagine you don't know You come to the shop, you're standing there, you're looking at the milk, at bananas and apples, but you don't know if you want to get them. Will you get them? No. You will go your empty hands. It's the same thing in life. Imagine what you want to do. What is a good job for you? Is it a good money? Is it about the position? Is it about the corporation? Is it about like working advisor in the government? What is a good job for you? Once you understand that, you write down, where can I find the resources? It's a mind mapping thing, okay? You need to put like, some certain chart for yourself. The thing is like, the truth is, our brains are amazing. Our brains are capable of creating the reality. So once you write it down, once you see it yourself, it's already somewhere there. That's already possible to be done. So again, understand for yourself what you want to do, and then you can move further. I did a bachelor's degree in agriculture and haven't been successful to find a job. What do I do? Degree is okay. Degree is a one thing. But what are you passionate about? Are you passionate about agriculture? And what is it, a successful job, or what is it, the job you want to find? Again, write it down. What do you want to do in agriculture? Are you going to be like, do you want to work in a lab and, probably inventing some new seeds for the new plants, for the new hybrids of the plants? Or you want to work in the field? Or you want to work in a farm? Or you want to find someone who just set up the startup in agriculture, and there are plenty of the people like this, and you probably will be able to join them. Did you ever think of that? So again, it is about like, visualizing and understanding what is that really you want to do. What is a job? Job is like, job is like very general. You can be employed by someone, okay? It doesn't define right now. If you put like the word job, it's just like, okay, employment. That can be from 9 to 6 in the best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, that will be from 8 to 8. That can be very low paid or highly paid. You can be having good position, you're having like weak position. I mean, you can be hired in the organization which is where you will find difficulty to grow, or you can be working in a small company where you can be exponentially growing immediately. You need to understand for yourself, what is that the job? Tell it to yourself. I know that like, right now you're thinking that, oh my God, job is a job. No. Same as education, no. Same as life is life, no. Your life is very own one. That's very specific. Be very specific at every single step. Imagine yourself, just for instance, if you're looking for a job, imagine yourself having a job. Just close your eyes and imagine yourself. Where is that job? What are you doing there? Where are you sitting? Are you sitting in the office? Or you're helping in agriculture to solve the biggest problems of the floods, for instance. I've heard that Pakistan has been like, suffering lots of the floods. If that's the case, probably there is a way to see or to find a job somewhere where you didn't even think of, but you would be saving agriculture, i.e. like, the harvest from flooding. So again, you need to understand what is a job. What do you want to do? What will make you happy? Job will not make you happy. I can guarantee you. It will not. If you think that you will find a job and that will make you happy, no. It can make you miserable, because you all of a sudden, God will hear you, you will find a job, and that job will be nothing with what you thought the ideal job has to be. So think of what is the job for you. What do you want to do? How much money you want to get? What are you going to do with that money? How you will spend that money? How you will be working? What impact you will be bringing? I mean, for me, one thing I know for sure, and that has been through all of my life, I want to do, whatever I'm doing in business, I'm trying to be impactful. I'm trying to understand, like, I'm trying to do something which will solve the problems of the world. I mean, I love space. I wish like one day I will be traveling to space, but I think we have messed up this world and this earth well enough, and we cannot throw this world like this to go to Mars or to the moon, okay? So I love to be doing projects which bring me money, and money is must, but also where I can find the other way I can help the other people, or the solution, or the like, help tackling the issues. But I know for sure that my business has to bring me money, because I don't believe, like, I mean, sometimes, and especially that's with the women and with the girls, they say, oh my God, I don't need money. It doesn't depend, like, the idea is there. You know what? When you will be hungry, you will not care at all what's happening around. You cannot feed the others when you're hungry. So you need to feed yourself. There is nothing wrong with you getting the education or growing yourself to get the money. There is nothing wrong with wanting to get the clean, good money being paid for your knowledge, for your talent, for the expertise. Because that will help you grow, and that will help, like, you to invest in the family. So it's like, I mean, this is about like changing your paradigm, changing your, like, view to this world. Because again, there are so many norms, so many stigmas, so many things. But what is that you want to do? How do you want to be owning your personal life? Because your life is only one, okay? It's not a rehearsal. There is nothing else apart from that. Trust me, time is just flying. One day you sit at the school, then you're at the university, then you have a small kid, and then you see them, like, getting married. But you know what? My mom told me one thing. She started drawing. She started painting at 62. 62. And this is where I understood that, oh my God, okay, it's never late. It's never late to doing anything new. It's never late to change. And you know what? If you thought that you knew something and then you understand that you don't know something, there is nothing wrong about that too. So you really do own this life. If you are brought to this life, if you're brought to this world, you are brought with the power of creating the happiness for yourself. It's a matter of you thinking, okay, if there is a power, let me find out where that power is. Because once you start working on that, once you start getting and understanding, okay, here's my power, this is what I can use to make my life better, you know what? The whole world will start helping you. But it doesn't work the other way around. The whole world will not help you unless you do the move. No one in this world will be helping you unless you make the first initial steps, unless you make the effort. You have to be doing the efforts yourself, and then you will see. The minute you will sit and think, oh my God, I wish I would see that person, I wish somebody would help me, you will start seeing those people. They will start coming to you, because that's your reality. Again, I've been lucky to see the mentors, but I've been, I had lots of the people who didn't want me, be successful too. I have some people who love me, and I have some people who hate me. I'm okay with that. I don't need to be liked by everyone. I don't need to be loved by everyone. Somebody will like me, somebody will not. I'm not born to be loved by someone, but I'm born to create the life I want to have. And that's a major thing. I don't see any other questions. So, like, guide me through that.
So usually around this time, we have the end of the webinar, and I think we mashed up the Q&A section and a bit of the presentation together. So thank you so much, Tatyana, for your presentation and your time today. Our audience really appreciated it. And thank you to our audience for interacting and engaging with our speaker. once again, all of the information that was said here was so relevant towards the situations and the hardships that we will be going through in life. So I just wanted to thank you again for your time, and everybody have a good day ahead.
Thank you so much. And again, I'm available on all the social networks. We can easily, we go through the things together. Okay. This world is turbulent and we are together in that. Find me there, but most important, find yourself in this life. You're amazing. I keep reading that. I'm fascinated by all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
All right.